Well, I like to say, I wear dresses and I color my nails, but I don't look like a girl in a dress. I look like a guy in a dress because I don't wear a wig, I don't I don't wear makeup really, and it's just I do this, I do my toes too and stuff. And I like going to the salon and getting it done and all that. It's relaxing. It's expensive, but whatever. I mean, that depends. It depends on where you go. Actually, the prices vary greatly. But the thing I want to bring up is the Republicans when they were trying to get into office. They don't talk about it anymore. It hasn't been an issue because they're in office and they don't want to talk about it. But there's another reason they don't want to talk about it either, and I'll get to that. But they attacked, drag queens reading to children in libraries, reading children's books to children in libraries. Now, I've been to said library, and there was a whole crowd outside the library cursing the drag queens, cursing the library staff for allowing it to happen, calling them uh, evil people and doing the devil's work and all that, and how dare they expose children to this. Now, a lot of the children they were in cribs, they were in strollers. They were very young and they were with their mothers. Um, they weren't the drag queens. They weren't molesting the children. They weren't hurt. They probably didn't even touch the children. And this is the Republicans' great big evil of the world. Drag queens reading to children in public libraries. Not going to your private house and reading in your living room or anything like that, or even going to a hotel and taking up a room and having like a convention room and turning it into something like that. They went to most of your public libraries are small. They don't have much room for many people. Uh, you know, and that's what it was. And they didn't sell tickets. From what I understand, they didn't make any money doing this. And it was pretty much innocent. It was pretty, the Republicans made it out to be this horrible, horrendous, sacrilegious thing. The sin of all sins. Yeah. Well, now let's turn the page. Jeffrey Epstein, killing children and eating them, having sex with children, uh, all the Republicans having sex with children, eating children, uh, drinking their blood, all the things you hear. Not one person arguing or protesting or calling them the sinner of sinners. That's okay, I guess. You can't read to a toddler, but you can rape them. And, and that's what went by, and that's what's flying. And, when you have the king of all rapists running the country, you know, what do you expect? I mean, if you had the king of all bank robbers running the country, I don't think the banks would be very safe. And he is the king of all bank robbers, and the banks aren't very safe right now, and the market crashed today. So it's just it's ironic, it's pathetic, it's it's what you deserve. The people that voted for him, as I say, you got what you deserve, and you should be punished for what you did, and you are being punished for what you did, and you will be punished for what you did coming in the future. Those January 6 people that got pardons, they're not done. They're not done in any way, shape, or form. And if they get any money from the slush fund, it'll be publicized in the paper who got what, and those people will be hounded forever for every dime and every nickel they got. And people will forever ask them for money. Oh, got $1? you got a slush fund money. I think you can give me $1. You know, just annoy them, not to get the dollar, but just to annoy the living crap out of them. You know, and I think it would be hysterical. You know, they can't go to a restaurant, you know, because people know who they are, and they know they got money, and you're gonna find out the people that want money um, don't realize the pitfalls of having money. You know, and when they're gonna get some money if they get it at all, but if they get money, it's not gonna be that much in the end, and it's definitely not gonna be enough for the public humiliation they're gonna suffer for cashing that check. And you know, all I say is give them the money. Give them the money. They'll need an island to hide on. Maybe they can buy Jeffrey's Island. Uh, so, but there's an awful lot of them, so no, island ain't that big. So I don't know about that. But the ones that get the most money can buy the island, I guess. And then the one who's going to get the most money is Trump. There's no stipulation, but he can't get the money. He's going to put most of that money in his pocket. He's not giving money to anybody. You can't audit his books. You can't audit his taxes according to the agreement. So how would you ever know if he got the money? And the panel is secret. The judgments are secret. So how would you know if he ever took the money? He could put $1.7 billion in his pocket, and nobody would know, be the wiser. And and I think that's exactly what he's going to do because the piece of garbage that he is, that's what he would do. And he is a bank robber, and that's what bank robbers do. So it's just I don't know. And the ballroom, he had to go to Madison Square Garden because he can't have a party at the Hilton. He needs a ballroom that costs $1 billion, but he can go to the biggest arena in the city and disrupt the whole city just so he can fall asleep at a basketball game and make them lose. So it's just it's just ironic and pathetic at the same time. And and you assholes are going to pay for that ballroom, and you're not going to complain. Nobody's going to use it. Not definitely ain't going to be worth the one point whatever billion it's going to cost to build, and it ruins the whole makeup of the White House and the property of the White House. But you hired Bob the Builder as your president, so why are you surprised that this crap is happening? you know, he put his name on everything in Manhattan. You didn't think he was going to do it in D.C.? I mean, uh, stupid to the nth degree. You know, people in New Guinea that live in the woods and hunt for their food are a million times smarter than any of you.